Hello, this is Thomas from Motorpod. Welcome to this tutorial on how to assemble your TakeOff Flow. So your kit comes in this beautiful and compact travel case, and I'm going to show you what's inside. To open it, you have 4 locks that you can see here. You just need to pull them like this, and then you can open it. So in the kit, you have your flow main unit, your propeller. Here is the Motorpod, the motor and the clamp, your top clamp, the accessories, more accessories, and your remote, and most importantly, your user manual. So we are going to do it in a few steps. First, we are going to prepare your board to position the T-nuts so that when we put the main unit, it comes directly. Then we are going to prepare the Motorpod onto the mast, and finally, we are going to assemble all the kit onto your board. So your kit comes with 2 options of screws. You have the M8 screws with the M6 grub screws and the M6 screws with the M8 grub screws. They have the same T-nuts. You need to choose the one you need for your kit. This step to prepare your board is just to position the T-nuts inside. So it's the normal step that you're usually doing when you prepare your foil. So take the T-nuts that you need, put the grub screws inside, and then we are going to place them one by one inside of the tracks. Put the grub screws on the outside. It's going to be easier to adjust later on the positioning as per what you need. So place your mast onto your tracks, bring your screws, and then you can position your grub screws as per what you need to bring them to your favorite position. Keep in mind, if you need more lift, bring it forward. So now that the T-nuts are positioned as per your mast, let's take it out and move to the next step. All right, so let's assemble your motor onto your mast. So you got here the universal Motorpod, the top clamp that will come here on top of your mast, the aluminum cable channel, and then the rubbers. You see we have a lot of rubbers because we will use different ones depending on the shape of your mast. If you have a thin mast, we will use thick rubbers, and the opposite. So the first thing to do, take your Allen key and unscrew the Motorpod. And do the same for the top clamp. The goal of this step is to choose the rubbers that will fit properly the shape of your mast. So just for you to know, place it without and you will see the gap that we are trying to close here. So to start with, take the middle size rubber. We have size 3, 4, and 5. Start with the 4. So you can see we have 4 areas on each side. Just place the rubber inside, here with the number 4, and same on the other side. All right, then you can take your Motorpod, bring it here and try it on. Hold both sides, as I'm doing here, and see once you're holding to the max pressure of your hands, if it's still moving. Here I can see that I still have a bit of play. You see, plastic are touching each other on both sides, and yet it's still moving, which means I will need to go to the bigger size. What's important is that here I see that there is the same play in the front and the back, which means I will upgrade the size of both rubbers. If you see that the front is holding very well on your mast, but the back has some gap, then only go to the bigger size at the back. This is as per the shape of your mast. So going with the bigger shape this time, number 5. I can see now that it's super tight and I'm not yet fully closing the front, which means it's perfect because I'm going to use all the strength of the rubber on it. So keep in mind here also you don't need to over tighten it. If you're forcing too much, on one side, it means probably you have a rubber that is too big on one side. So once you have the right rubbers in place, you can put your mast flat, put the motor pod below, and then you need to choose the position of where you're going to put it. So the first thing that is interesting is take the aluminum cable channel. Keep in mind it's going to slot in here, and the top clamp is going to come here. So you want to have it at the top as a standard position, which would be like this. So now we can work on the motor pod. So to work on the motor pod, the first thing you need to do is place the aluminum cable channel. You see that it's sliding within each other, but most importantly, there is a notch at the top here that will go at the top in the motor clamp. This is what holds it in position. Then you have two slots, and each of the pod, the clamps here, are gonna go inside so that the aluminum cable channel doesn't move. So I'm taking the bottom part, and I'm going to place it below the cable. At the same time, you need to flatten the cable. So this motor cable has three actually cables inside, and they need to be flat if you want it to slot in perfectly. Then I'm placing the aluminum cable channel inside of the motor pod until I hear a little click for the little slot at the bottom. So to place the aluminum cable channel, the trick is keep the cable flat. So I'm holding it flat here, and then I can come with the front part inside, and now it fits properly in. Remember, you have a slot that you need to go catch inside of the motor plant, so slide it down up to the moment where you hear that it's locked in. Hop, they need to be completely in sync. Hop, I'm inside, perfect. Now it's completely locked. I can bring the top part and hold it. Just before I tighten it, I'm making sure that the aluminum cable channel is really in, and you see now it's completely in. It moved a little bit, and now it's all good. So we can put back the screws. You have two screws, keep in mind. The longer one goes closer to the motor. Don't tighten too much until you have finished the front one. I keep it loose a little bit because I want to be able to move it. So for the top clamp, the best is bring back your mast vertically. Then you can hold it. The first part is actually to put the longer screw. You have three sizes of screw, long in the middle, very small at the back, and the medium size in the front. All right, and once it's holding, then you can adjust properly your positioning. So before tightening, make sure that the cable channel is parallel and both of the clamps are actually positioned properly. You see here I'm a bit closer to the mast than here, so I can either bring the clamp closer here or bring this one backwards. Here is all good. Then we can tighten. Keep in mind, this is injection plastic over the same material on the other side. If you tighten too much, you can damage it, so no need to over tighten once the two plastics parts are touching each other. Same at the bottom. And if you see the two plastic parts are not touching each other, maybe you have used a rubber that is a little bit too thick in the front or in the back. This is what you need to check. All right, so for your safety, put the propeller on your kit at the end. You don't want it to spin when you test the remote and you're still assembling it. So the propeller comes in this box. You have here the propeller and 4 screws that are inside of this foam that you're going to take and that we're going to place onto your kit. The propeller here, the two-blade propeller, needs only 2 screws. The 2 here are spares. So on your Motorpod, you will notice you have 3, 3, and 2 that are on the opposite side. The 2 on the opposite side are the one we are going to use for this propeller. You can place the Allen key already, come directly on the hole for one, and then for the second one you should be aligned pretty easily. It's properly aligned, yes, and then you can tighten it. Recommendation, if you have some Loctite with you, you can apply it on the screws that are going to come inside of the propeller here. It's going to be better for the durability. All right, so you've assembled your mast, and now you're ready to plug it onto your TakeOff Flow unit. So the first thing we will do, we will remove the cover at the back in order to store the excess motor cable that we have. All right. The second thing we will do, we will take the motor plug and plug it inside here. There is a little screw that we need to remove before, the little torque screw. All right, so now you can take your motor cable. Keep in mind, you need to put silicone grease all around it and inside of the connector. So you can plug it here. You'll need to push hard so that it comes inside. Take again your torque screw, and now we can plug it in. I'm checking, I'm all in. Perfect. Now we'll be able to place the mast onto takeoff. So once you've placed your mast onto the takeoff, we are gonna place the bolts in the T-nuts. All right, checking, and now we can tighten. Okay, now we have this cable cover here. So you have your excess of motor cable that we can store here. It's a bit tight, but you will manage. Basically, make it in rounds as tiny as possible. All right, so I've rolled it as much as I could. Then I keep it in position. Coming here. Then I can hold it. All right, and you're good. Final check. All right, your kit is now fully attached. We can turn it on and check it. So to turn it on, you turn on your remote by doing a long press on the O button till you see the full loop turning on. And to turn on your flow unit, there is actually a little magnet here at the bottom of the remote, and there is a magnet sensor here at the front of your TakeOff Flow, just next to the charging plug. So you bring the bottom of your remote on it, and then you look at the little screen at the back up to the fact that you see takeoff. Give it a few seconds, you're going to have your battery charging level showing up. 58%. And now we can check the remote. At the top right, you will see the signal bars to show that it's connected to the takeoff kit. If you accelerate now, nothing is happening. But if you press minus to unlock, you're good to go. So to recharge your TakeOff Flow, you need to first unscrew this plug. Make sure your flow is off, which means nothing on the screen here. Perfect. So first, you have this extension that is valid for the flow only. Plug it into your charger. You can plug your charger inside of the socket directly. You will see it's in green, nothing is happening. So I'm just gonna plug it here. Then it's gonna switch to red, and then it's charging. You will hear the fan. Once it's finished, it's gonna go back to green and the fan is gonna shut down. That's it. If you need it to stop charging in between, you can remove it from the socket or remove it directly from here and it's gonna stop where it is. Thank you again for this assembly. To know more about the remote, we have made a dedicated video. The link is in the description. We hope you have a lot of fun with your TakeOff Flow. Ride safe.